So good morning. Hope I am audible. Let us start the lecture. Uh, Open source software and hardware DET 3107 elective 1. Course outcomes: to have an introductory knowledge of concept of open source, open and free software and hardware, introduction of Arduino hardware, Raspberry Pi, Internet of the Things. To get an in-depth knowledge of Arduino software, that is IDE, simple programs, interfacing of basic hardware modules with Arduino. To acquire knowledge of interfacing and programming of Arduino for ADC, DC motor, servo motor, Bluetooth, Zigbee, Wi-Fi and PWM programming. To understand the details regarding the LaTeX software, which is with installation, programming, processing, software facilities useful for various document preparation. To understand the details regarding Scilab software, with its installation, programming, processing, console, editor, graphics window, software facilities that's useful for various technical calculations. To study KiCad or KiCad. KiCad as electronic computer aided design, ECAD tool for designing circuit schematic, electronic rule checking, netlist generation, mapping components and designing PCB. Okay. Yesterday, I think we have at free software definition, free software providing, then free software definition we have seen, 4 kinds of freedoms we have seen. Software definition is adapted by FSF from Richard Stallman's free software definition, and it is a matter of liberty and not price, and it should have uphold the 4 freedoms. Freedom 0, freedom 1, freedom 2, freedom 3. Freedom 0 is you can run the program, freedom 1 is you can change it to as your wish, and freedom 2 is redistribute the copies, and freedom 3 is distribute copies of your modified version. Then open source definition is we have seen, and that open source definition means open OSI certified software, and that should fulfill the criteria like it must be distributed under license, open source license that guarantees right to read, redistribute, modify and use the software freely. So these we have seen. Then we have seen some benefits of open and free source software. Open and free source software is a combination of free software and open source software. Okay. Free software and open source software. So combined it is called free and open source software, FOSS. Both are almost having open source and free software. Both are almost similar, equal or having same mottos and rules or philosophy. So this FOSS or free and open source software has many advantages like software users civil liberty rights are maintained, and software cost is decreased and stability is increased, and malwares are not affecting and protecting the privacy, useful for education, and you can control your own hardware. More control is there on the hardware. So these are the benefits. Then we have seen in 60s the movement started, open free and open source philosophy movements, that is Free Software Foundation group is established, and then in 70s the this software was this initial free software was there which is coming along with the computers. Then it was become proprietary, and then due to that in 70s the software foundation, free software foundation started the movement of GNU project, and then it is issuing the general public license GPL. It is also founded the Free Software Foundation. Basically GNU project was built for free operating systems. Then many other activities go on adding. Then in 80s and 90s open source software continued its development, initially in several relative isolated groups. but slowly all they are merged together, and the operating system environment is built on top of Unix, and many ISPs, internet service providers, are operating on these. So open source development method for software harness and the power of distribution, peer reviewed and transparency of process. Open source development method for the software that harnesses the power of distributed peer review and transparency of the process. So the promise of open source is a better quality, higher reliability, more flexibility. All these are the ensured qualities, more flexibility, lower cost, and into productory vendor lock-in. The open source initiative OSI is non-profit corporation. It is formed to educate about and advocate for the benefits of open source. So to all the people, they are advocating how the open source is important. So OSI includes the standard body maintaining the open source definition for a good for the community. Now we go for some of the examples. Till this we have seen yesterday. Okay, we'll very quickly refresh it. Very quickly, 1 minute, 2 minutes. We have seen the benefits of FOSS. Then we have seen how the software in the beginning was free along with the computers, and then software is also become chargeable, proprietary afterwards in 70s with the computers. As the software becomes proprietary along with the computer, and initially computer is to be purchased, and along with computer software comes as a part of the computer. Then computer is needed to purchase separately, and software is needed to supply separately. So these two are both separate purchases. Then afterwards what happens is अच्छा ह्याच्यावर सही करू ओके हां ठीक आहे afterwards what happened, computer is to be purchased separately, and software needed again separate price. So this was there afterwards. So that's why two purchases are required. One is for computer, one is for software. And due to that, the open and free and open source software activities started. Okay. So this is the reason behind this. This is the history. So it was some interaction with my interaction with the other person, which is now we will continue the lecture. Then in late 70s, 80s, the activity started in MIT by Richard Stallman. Okay, so this his group started GNU project and free operating system, and in 1980s and 90s the other open source software development continued, many groups, and then these groups are also merged together, and it is one more activity. So it is open source initiative. Okay. So these two activities are there. One is the Free Source Foundation and second is Open Source Initiative. So they are having almost similar philosophy. Both are having almost similar philosophy. And these philosophies are then combinedly working as a free and open source software, that is FOSS. Okay. So FOSS is now in action. FOSS is now working. Okay. So till this we have seen. Okay. Now let us check the some of the next points, that is regarding the proprietary softwares. Some of the proprietary softwares are there. Which are the proprietary software that we check? Proprietary softwares are like Microsoft is one company which is uh, developing the proprietary software. As we know, many proprietary softwares, basically operating system Windows, is developed by Microsoft. Okay, and Office suite is developed by Microsoft, and other some many facilities, tools, add-ons are developed by this. This is one example of what proprietary software. This is the example of proprietary software. We have seen the free software or open source software. We have seen the commercial or proprietary software also. Commercial or proprietary software is required to purchase. We require it to purchase proprietary software or commercial software, isn't it? So the example is there, that is the Microsoft. Okay, the recently the software industry has begun to consider free software as option again. Okay, so industry is also looking forward for the free software as one of the option, better option, and it is promoting also, using also. Okay. Example of free softwares, Apple's OS X. Okay, this is one of the example. Then Leopard as based on the Unix. Then Google's Chrome. Then Mozilla Firefox. These are some of the examples. There are many. These are some of the examples. Okay. So these proprietary softwares means the softwares which are to be purchased. Example, very well known example is Microsoft. Okay. Then other open source software or free software like Apple's X, Leopards are based on, which are based on Unix, Google's Chrome, then Mozilla Firefox. Okay, these are the examples of free software. Okay. Now, free and open source software FOSS. Yesterday also we have discussed this. Free and open source software FOSS is a software that can be classified as both free software and open source software. Free and open source software that can be classified as both free software and open source software. So it is mixture of both the philosophies. Which are the philosophies? Philosophies are one of the free source foundations philosophy, and second is open source initiative philosophy. Two philosophies are there. Free software foundation, SFS, okay. FSF, free software foundation, FSF philosophy, and open source initiative, OSI, open source initiative, OSI. This is one more philosophy. So these are the two philosophies. Both are considered, or both are used, merged, parallelly they are adopted, and then it becomes a free and open source software. Okay, it become now free and open source software, FOSS. Okay, so it is having both free and open source, both philosophies. And again, those philosophies are very parallel, very similar. Slightly difference is there. That difference is basically we have seen regarding the distribution and redistribution. Okay. So that is anyone is freely licensed. It is freely licensed to use, to copy, to study, to change the software in any way as that person, that industry requires, as per requirement, and the source code is openly shared. Source code is openly shared, so that people are encouraged to voluntarily enhance the software design. If the source code is openly shared, then people are encouraged to voluntarily enhance the software design. Okay, so this is the philosophy of free and open source software. FOSS. So in FOSS, anyone can freely license to use, copy, study, change software. The source code is open for people and they are encouraged voluntarily enhance the software design. Commercially available software or commercial software or proprietary software doesn't give access to its source code. It do not give access to the source code because software is someone's intellectual property. Yesterday we have seen intellectual property, IP. Intellectual property or IP. What do you mean by IP? Intellectual property. Intellectual property IP means some uh, thing which is developed intellectually, that thing may be software, maybe hardware, okay, maybe some equation, maybe some mathematical formulation, maybe some chemical formulation, maybe some research, okay. All these things will have the ownership, proprietary of somebody which who is developed that. Okay, suppose you have developed some formulation, then you will have the ownership of that formulation. That is called intellectual property. It is your intellectual property. So commercially available softwares are doesn't give access to the source code because the software is someone else intellectual property. Then user have to pay for it. Okay. But in open source software, on the other hand, it is collaborative effort and software is shared intellectual property. It is shared intellectual property. So in open source software, software is developed. That means it is somebody's intellectual property. But who developed the software? Who developed its software? If it is open source, it is allowing access to all of them, all of the people, all of the community people. Then whole community, all the people are giving effort in developing the software. All have collectively developed the software. Then if all are collectively developed a software, whose intellectual property it is? Then intellectual property is shared one. Okay, intellectual property, shared intellectual property. It is shared intellectual property, isn't it? It is shared intellectual property. OSS, on other hand, is a collective effort of the software, and the software is shared intellectual property among all who have helped in developing or altering it. This is intellectual property which is shared intellectual property among all who have helped and developed to alter it. सगळ्यांमध्ये विभागून ही इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी आहे. ओके. So open source software criteria, open source initiative, global or non-profit foundation, founded in 1998. Open source initiative is global and it is non-profit and it is founded in 1998 and it is acting as leading authority on OSS, open source software. It is acting as leading authority on open source software. Its definition for open source software includes the 10 criteria relating to the matter as software redistribution, source code availability and integrity, distribution and properties of licenses, and derived works and anti-discrimination. Okay, what are basic some of the criteria? 10 criteria out of that. All these 10 criteria working on this. Okay, so one is software distribution or redistribution. Second is source code availability and integrity. Source code is open, available, and its integrity. Then one more, that is distribution and properties of licenses. How the license will be? GPL, General Public License. It is public license. Anybody can use it. So distribution, anybody can do distribution to any other body, institution, person. So distribution related, property license related, license property related. The derived works. If the software is there, then from that software, which are the derived works are there? Regarding that, also the open source criteria is telling something. And one more is there, that is anti-discrimination. Anti-discrimination means the open source movement will not discriminate anybody, any company, any organization, any country, any person. It will not discriminate. It will allow this license equally to all of them. It allows the license equally to all of them. It is not discriminating at all. It is not discriminating at all. It allows to all of them. Okay? It allows all of them equally. Not only it allows all of them, but it allows them equally. It is anti-discrimination. So open source criteria are some 10, it is open source initiative working from 1998, and it is working on some 10 criteria, and these criteria are something like this. Software, these are related to software redistribution, source code availability, integrity, distribution of properties of licenses, derived works, anti-discrimination. So this is working on these criteria. So what are the different licenses? Different licenses are there in the open source. So what are these different licenses? Let us check. Okay. So these different licenses are like MIT license, GNU General Public License, Apache license, GNU General Public License, some other version, BSD license. So like licenses are there. Okay. So different licenses allow programmers to modify the software with various conditions attached. Okay. So if some license is there, some conditions are attached in that license. So these are the conditions, so and so are the conditions, and along with these conditions you can use that software, you can modify that software. So licenses are issued, allocated or attached to the software, and these licenses are listed with, are having the list of some conditions, and these conditions, attached the conditions, are the conditions with which we can follow and use and redistribute and modify and study the software. According to the Black Duck knowledge base, database of some 2 million open source projects, 5 of most popular licenses are these. Okay. So Black Duck knowledge base is there. Some knowledge base listed all the available worldwide, globally available open source initiatives, open source groups. Black box listed all this. Black Duck knowledge base is there. This particular foundation or institute, organization, Black Duck knowledge base organization, listed the database is having a list of all these initiatives or open source projects, and this Black Duck knowledge base having the database of some 2 million open source projects. So we have named here 2 projects or 2-3 projects, that is one found this initially free source free software foundation, then open source initiative, GNU project, some of them we have named, but such 2 million open source projects are there. This is listed, more than 2 million open source projects are there worldwide, and it is listed by Black Duck knowledge base. Okay, so this Black Duck knowledge base listed all the open source projects. So these projects will have their own rules and protocols, and 5 of most popular licenses are there. Most popular 5 licenses are listed here, and these are this. One is MIT license, okay, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the US, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Then GNU, General Public License, GPL 2.0, okay, GNU General Public License, GPL, GPL means General Public License 2.0, version 2.0. Then Apache license 2.0, okay. Then GNU General Public License GPL 3.0. Okay. So after 2.0 version, there is also 3.0 license version. So some addition, some modification will be there in the 2.0, and there will be new version of 3.0. So 2.0 is also very famous and most popular, and the 3.0 of GNU GPL is also most popular. Both are most popular. Most popular means what? Most popular means the organization, the people, the research foundations, the universities, the industry, all are using this. Most of them are using this. Using this means they are most popular. And for fifth one is BSD license 2.0, 3 clause new or revised. So it is having 3 clauses and it is new or revised. So BSD license 2.0 old was there, original was there, and BSD license 2.0 new or revised is also there. So out of that old and original and new and revised. New and revised is most popular among 5, top 5. Okay. So what are the open source projects? Total are millions of open source projects are there, and all these worldwide millions of open source projects are listed, numbered, counted by Black Duck knowledge base. Okay, and in his Black Duck knowledge base, in it the database is there which is listing the 2 million open source projects, and most popular 5 are MIT license, GNU General Public License GPL 2.0, Apache license 2.0, GNU General Public License, that is GPL 3.0, and BSD license 2.0, which is having 3 clause. It is called new or revised. So these are the 5 most popular licenses. When you change the source code, OSS requires the inclusion of what you altered as well as your method. Okay, how you are researched, how you are modified, that method. The software created after code modification may or may not be available for free. Okay, so while getting the licenses, what is required? When you change the source code, OSS requires the inclusion of what you altered. Okay, so you have changed the source code and you are gone applied for the licenses. Then what is required? They require what you have altered, you must say openly. Okay, you should not hide that what you have altered. First thing, and what method you have used, that also you have to say openly. You have to declare it. So declaration of alteration, declaration of method of alteration is required for the OSS inclusion. Then your software will be included in open source softwares. Otherwise, it will not be included in the open source softwares. The software created, okay, the software created after code modification. If you have modified some code, okay, then software is created after code modification. That software may or may not be made for free. Okay, after alteration, You can make it available free, or you may not make it available for free. Okay, so this is a openness. Okay, so what are the advantages? The while its lack of cost is a key advantage. Okay, OSS has several additional benefits. Okay, OSS has several additional benefits. Its quality can be easily and greatly improved. Quality can be easily and greatly improved when its source code is passed around, tested and fixed. Because only one foundation, only one institute, only one company, only one owner, if it is or he is modifying the source code, he will have limited manpower, limited knowledge base, limited available resources. So he cannot easily modify or greatly improve the software. But if the source code is passed around through all the universities, all the foundations, all the industries, all the people, then lot of efforts can be parallelly applied, used. So the source code is passed around, it is tested by all the people and fixed the bugs. That's why its quality is very easily improved and very greatly improved. Okay, this is the advantage of open source software. It offers a valuable learning opportunity for the programmers. It is advantage for programmer community, programmer fraternities, those who are studied the computers, IT, electronics, because electronics is the mother of computer. Electronics is handling software as well as hardware. Okay, that's why it is having more responsibility, more study material, more study field. Not only software, it has to study the hardware also. That's why the scope becomes lesser, because half of the energy is gone in the hardware, half is in the software. So in software, electronics are not going in depth. Okay, so that's why computer people are there to generate and develop the softwares. But the electronics are also can develop, generate the software, but they require more efforts because they have to work on the hardware also. So who are programmers, electronics or IT or computer or any other chemical, mechanical or civil also, it offers this free and open source movement offers a learning opportunity for them, learning opportunity for the programmers. Okay, and they can apply the skills to the most popular programs available today. They can apply skills to most popular programs available today. Now these programmers can apply the skills to all the programs available today. So whatever the Mozilla Firefox, Chrome and all other programs, open and free source, the people can apply the energy and efforts so that they can develop it, modify it, improve it very highly sophisticatedly, having the very high sophistication, isn't it? So this is the advantage of this. So it can be more secure than the proprietary software, isn't it? It can be more secure than the proprietary software because bugs are identified and fixed quickly. Okay, so all the people are working on it. So large quantum of people are working on it. So it can be more secure than the proprietary software because bugs are identified and fixed very quickly. Since it is in the public domain and constantly subject to update. Okay. It is in public domain and it is continuously subject to updates. It is continuously getting updated. There is a little chance it can become unavailable or quickly outmoded, an important plus for long-term projects. That means it always remains available because all of the people are having their copies and anybody can share. So it is no chance, very little chance that it can become unavailable. It is always available and it is not quickly outmoded. Okay. ठीक है ना. So long term projects are there and they are available always. Software copies are always available. So these are some of the advantages. That is improvement is easy and very large, great improvement is there in the source code, and because it is tested and passed around, tested and fixed by many people. It offers a valuable learning opportunity to the programmers. They can apply the skills, most popular programs available today, and it can be more secure than the proprietary software because bugs are identified and fixed very quickly. Since it is in the public domain and constantly subject to updates, there is little chance that can become unavailable or quickly outmoded. An important plus for the long-term project. So what are the popular types? Popular types. Open source technologies help the establish much of the internet. Furthermore, many of the programs in use every day are based on open source technologies. Okay. So there are obviously there must be large number of popular types, isn't it? So open source technology help establish the internet basically. Internet is established due to open source technology. Furthermore, many of the programs in use every day are based on open source technology. Whatever the programs in day-to-day life used in the domestic, industrial purposes, research purposes. Okay. So, large number of the programs are open source technology programs. Okay. The cases in point, the cases like Android OS, open source, Apple's OS X, open source, are based on kernel and Unix BSD, open source technology respectively. Okay. So Android is based on kernel, Apple's OS X based on Unix BSD, open source technology. Okay. Apple's OS X is based on Unix BSD and Android is based on kernel. The popular open source software is other popular open source software are Mozilla Firefox web browser. Okay. Mozilla's Firefox web browser, Thunderbird email client, Thunderbird email client, PHP scripting language, PHP scripting language, Python programming language, Python's programming language, Apache HTTP web server, Apache HTTP hypertext transfer protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, web server HTTP. So these are the popular open source softwares. These are the popular open source softwares. Okay, these are the popular open source softwares. What are those? Mozilla's Firefox web browser. It is web browser. Using that we can browse the websites. We put the address, put the address in the web browser, and we search the address and we connect the website. So Mozilla's Firefox web browser is web browser example of open source software. Then email client is one more application. So for email client, Thunderbird is the open source software. So Thunderbird email client is there. Then there are variety of the scripting languages. So PHP is the scripting language. And there are many programming languages are there. So Python is open source example of programming languages. Many programming languages you are knowing. So Python is open source. Then web servers. So there are servers as we know on internet and networking. There are web servers. So Apache HTTP web server is the web server application or example which is open source software. So variety of the open source software examples you have seen. Some browsers are there, some email clients are there, some scripting languages are there, some programming languages are there, some web browsers are there like Mozilla, Firefox, Thunderbird, PHP, Python, Apache HTTP. Okay. So these are some of the popular types. Developers now. OSS projects are collaboration opportunities that improve skills and build the connections in the field. Areas that developers can work include the following. Okay. OSS products are collaboration opportunities that improve skills. What is OSS project? What it does? Open source software projects are collaboration opportunity. Collaboration. It is open source. I develop, I share it to you. You develop, you improve it, you share it to me and again other your friends. Your friends develop, myself again redevelop it, remodify it. It again get improved. Your friends modified it. All we are declaring it publicly, and all the public are again improving it. So OSS project is collaborative opportunity. We all collaboratively working for that. I am working, you are working, your friends are working. All we are working collaboratively. Okay. So OSS projects are collaboration opportunities that improve skills and build the connections in the field. Okay. So areas that developers can work on include, so developers can work on the areas. What are the different areas? Communication tools. Suppose first example, communication tools means what? Communication tools. It is the era of internet and communication tools are very important. And you are electronics and telecommunication engineers. So you must know the communication tools. It is your part, isn't it? What are the communication tools? Email, real-time messaging, forums. Real-time messaging forums means just like the we are using the social media, etc. Messaging forums. They are real time. As soon as I send you the link, you see it, it becomes blue for me, and I understand you have seen it. It is real time. Then wikis, they help the developer to find the solutions or bounce the ideas off each other. Okay, wikis are there, so on the wikis we share the ideas. Okay, forum, wiki forum. Okay, and we call the blogs are there. We share the thinking and thoughts, isn't it? We share the poems and stories. We share the science and technologies. Blogs are there, isn't it? We share the studies and techniques of studies. We share the various fields. We share the stocks and exchange, stock exchange information. money matters, we share the jokes, memes. So all these are the platforms, isn't it? Blogs, wikis. So communication tools, email, real-time messaging, forum, wikis help the developers to find the solution or bounce ideas of each other. Then I put some ideas. This and this software, this is bug, and we should remove like this and this. But you think over it and you bounce it back. No, no, no. You are whatever you are telling is not up to the mark or worth. So it is taking more effort, and it is not. It will not give much outcome out of that. So I again rethink, yes, yes, you are telling is correct, and what I was thought is like this, but you are telling that is more efficient. So let us do other way around. So this interaction, uh, idea bouncing and of each other and all this. So the communication tools is for developers, email, real-time messaging, forum, and wikis help the developer to find solutions or bounce ideas of each other. I bounce the ideas off each other. Then next is distributed revision control system. Distributed revision control system. Okay. Now, when multiple developers in different geographical locations modify data and file, so suppose one is in the Africa, other is in the America, and third is the Australian, fourth is in the Asia, and again in Asia, one may be in India, second may be in Sri Lanka, fourth, third may be in the China, fourth may be in other Nepal, isn't it? Pakistan, Bangladesh, okay. Then geographical area, we cannot meet and tell all this. Yes, yes, I have done this and this tool and this. Okay. There must be distributed revision control system. Okay. Now the people are working, some people, some groups from Australia, some from Africa, some from America, some from Europe, some groups are from Asia, one is from China, one is from Pakistan, one is from India, one is from Bangladesh, one is from Sri Lanka. Okay. Then there must be some distributed revision control system. One group is driving that system. Yes, this tool development, this component is given to that Indian group. So you have to develop this component, and this Chinese group is developing this, and then interaction of these two components, interfacing of these two components, and how it works, whether it is working smoothly or there are some bugs and all that. That testing is given to Bangladesh, and that redevelopment is given to Pakistan, and then it is given to Europe, and then it is given to some other America and all that. Okay. So for that routing, so for that keeping the that record and properly managing that. Otherwise, what happens? The component I have developing, you also developing, and he also developing, and one more is also developing, and we are parallelly developing, and we all four are coming out with the same solution by putting 4 times efforts. So this should not happen. For that, distribution revision control system is required. When multiple developers in different geographical locations modify data files, this system manage the different versions and update it. Okay. So what is this system is doing? Distributed revision control system. There is one distributed revision control system on some each project. So for some project I am working from out of you, you are also all working, and whatever I am developing and you are developing, we are not knowing each other. So I am developing same thing, you are developing same thing, we are putting the effort for the same reason, the same cause. Then what happens? It is the waste of the time, waste of the energy. So this distributed control system keeps the track record of whatever the component developed. And now I check this tick, 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 these components are developed and this is in the queue. So I will go for that, I will develop it. And you, As soon as I develop, I inform this to distributed control system, and distributed control system update the version as well as update the information, manage the different version and updates. And immediately you know that this person has developed this, so okay, I will develop the other next component. So this management and synchronization is balanced, is maintained by a distributed revision control system. When the multiple developers in the different geographical locations modify the data and files, these systems manage the different versions and update it. Okay. Then what is next? Bug tracker and track list. Bug tracker and track list. Suppose one software is developed. Okay. Then it is given to test all of us, all the different country groups, to given to your group, to given to me, my group, and all. So we have to test it. We have to find the bug, or we have to use it, and whenever while using any bug and lockdown deadlock is coming, we have to report that. So for that, bug trackers are required. Bug tracker is a system in which it is listing all the users' name, and whenever any user raise some concern, yes, while doing this and this, it was the problem with the software. So that problem is also listed in that. So as soon as anybody I check the bug tracker, immediately I get to know that in March bug tracker is showing this for the software. Okay, then next in April that bug was removed. Okay, then May these 3-4 bugs are reported. In June 2 bugs are removed, but one bug from May is yet not removed in September also. So this bug may hamper my project. So in that way we can track the this. The bug tracker is tracking the bugs and debugging of putting the track list. So trackers and track list. These features allow the large scale projects to monitor issues and keep track of their fixes. Fixes means the solutions, whatever the debugging is there. Debugging means fixes. So bug tracker and task list, these are the features that allow large scale projects to monitor issues and keep track of their fixes. Okay. So this is the bug tracker and track list. The next is testing and debugging tools. Testing and debugging tools. Okay. Now very large projects are there. Okay. Some bank automation project is done. So in bank, millions of lakhs of customers or consumers are there, who are having their passbooks, who are having their ATM cards, who are having their FD, fixed deposit, who are having their loans, car loan, home loan, personal loan, educational loan. Some are having their lockers of commodities. Okay. So all of these things of million of the people, some is drawing the cash from ATM, some is depositing the money in the bank, some is doing the loan application, some is taking the loan, somebody's car is gone into the accident of the loan system, somebody's car is gone into the flood of the river, and all these details and all everything, all daily, all detail, large database, okay, is handled by this project. So imagine how much large the project is. Then how to test that project? Testing means what? What you will do for testing? You will create the bank account, you will have the transaction, You will enter some money, you will delete some money, you will add some money, you will remove some money, you will add some money. It go on doing. You will create the FD this receipt, you break the FD receipt, the FD is matured, then you will give the loan for the car, you will car installments are coming month by month. So you run the software and test it whether it is working correctly or not. Before actually installing in the bank, you run the software. This is the testing, isn't it? So how many transaction you will do manually? Millions of people the project is working or not. How you will check that? Is it possible to check manually? No, it is not possible to check manually. Is it correct? Then how to check that? How to test that software? So software testing is a very big field. Okay. So many engineers go for software testing after completing their degree in the engineering, in the computers, IT, electronics, okay, or other branches also. So what they do in the testing, they apply some input and check whether the software is operating correctly or not. There are some checkpoints. They check those checkpoints. But manually it is not possible. Such a big project software, bank or insurance or the post office software, okay, or even the industrial human resource software, okay, details of all the employees, okay, provident fund software, Aadhaar card software, our very big software is there, Aadhaar card software. Then Setu software is there in our government agencies. Setu software is there. Now the teachers' payment is done online. Their own software is there. Government software. Government is running that software, and through that software, payment is made to the scholarship software is there. Student scholarship software. Student admission software is there. Student entrance exam software is there. See, the big softwares are there. Lakhs of people are using simultaneously those softwares, isn't it? How to test that? Manually it is not possible. Then there are again another softwares which are used to test the project or test the software. So softwares are used to test the other softwares. Okay. So these are called testing and debugging tools. So softwares which are used to test the other projects are called testing and debugging tools. So there are testing and debugging tools. These features automate testing during the system integration and debug the other programs. Okay. So testing and debugging tool, what they do? These testing and debugging tool or these features are automating the testing. They are making the testing automatic. They are facilitating the testing as a automatic work. The features automate the testing during the system integration and debug other programs. While system is being integrated, while you are installing the bank software, post office software, the student scholarship software, or the pension software, provident fund software, Aadhaar card software, isn't it? While installing that, integrating that, these tools are useful for testing and debugging whether it is installed and whether it is working correctly or not. Okay. So developers have these many fields, tools, softwares. So for developers, OSS projects are collaboration opportunities. As we know, OSS projects are collaboration opportunity. They are opportunities of collaboration. Due to collaboration, its benefits increases multifold. So to improve the skills and build the connections in the field, the areas that developers can work include, so the software developers can work in various areas like communication tools can be developed, like email can be developed, real-time messaging can be developed, messaging forum, forums can be developed, like wikis can be developed. Okay, the forums are like the interactive media. This WhatsApp is there and all other, isn't it? Then distributed version control systems are also there. So multiple developers have different geographical location. They modify data files, and these distributed revision control system, these systems manage the different versions and they update continuously. Okay. Then bug trackers are there, track lists are there. These features allows the large scale projects to monitor the issues and keep the track of their bugs. So this is one more area developers can have. Testing and debugging tools are there. One, this is also the area that developers can have. These testing and debugging tools are these are the features that automate the testing during the system integration and debug their programs. Okay, so this is about different tools and facilities for the developers. Okay, so I think we should stop for this with this for today for open source software and hardware. Thank you. We'll continue the embedded system lecture on the same link. Okay, thank you.